Hello everybody, welcome to another Valheim video. Today we have something special for you. Another person has made a kind of custom adventure RPG world within Valheim, and I'm excited to show it off. We're going to be looking at Titan Age 2 The Legends Rift, which is something None Applicable has been working on. And if at any point in the video you want to learn more about the world or join and try it out, then you can join None Applicable's Discord, which you can find a link to in the description of the video. And to begin, I'm going to show you the teaser video for the server. And then after that, None Applicable gave me a tour of the beginning of the server, and I thought it was particularly interesting.
Well, this is the Titan's Age 2, The Legends Rift. There's many things to expect in this world. Basically, it is a Zelda-like, Fable-like, custom RPG. We start out getting dropped off by the bird here, of course. But in fact, you were dreaming it, and you wake up in your bed out in your shed here, and there's a big storm outside. What's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. It may or may not be the end of this world. That's right. And that is explained a little bit if you take the NPC intro after reading the world rules back there. Which, by the way, please read the rules. The NPCs are all freaking out about the weather, and they are making noises. We have a MP3 pack as well. That's pretty extensive with all kinds of voice dialogues for men, women, monsters. Your villager is kind of frustrated at you because you've been asleep, neglecting your responsibilities. Everything around the village the base is like overgrown and not being taken care of. You're being pinged up the hill here. So as you walk up this hill, you're questioned with a red moon. You see it in the sky there. And this is your first time seeing a red moon, and the red moon marks the end of worlds. And as you can see in the background there, the villagers actually aren't quite aware, but the world is already starting to piece up and float away. You start off naked, because you're asleep, you're in bed, obviously, and because you've been asleep for so long, all your gear has been otherwise looted or kind of ransacked or whatever. One culprit is this little kid who's kind of like looks up to you. So after you're done with the tutorial, you know, you got your boars kind of hanging around, or and you're just like, look at this mess. There's some signs, kind of telling how people can be admins if they want. Explaining that the fact that there's 9 main factions. The number 9 is very prominent here. 9 biomes, you know, the 9 realms, all that. So,
greetings, Captain. There you are. Many things are in need of your attention around here.
So she tells you to talk to this. Someone's delivered some stuff to you in your sleep, and you don't know where it came from or who it's been. But this is actually a storybook that's been given to you by the Rift itself, and it just drops it off here, and you read it, and it starts telling you the story that's happening light years away on this planet that's called Evergale, well, the lands of Evergale. We also have custom music for the game. We've had Swedish composers come through and do their work for free, thank them, and giving us their art. And I'm also a musician myself, and I've added a few songs myself as well. So we not only have custom storyline and voiceovers, but we have music as well. This song's called Oath by the Swedish composer, and it plays as your world is ending. And here we go. It starts to get real cool. A little spoiler there. And now that we finished all that, we can continue. Did I dream being carried by that big bird? Yes, you did. Big storm's coming. Everyone get inside. And this guy's screaming over here at you. And now the storm's it's raging. It's about to end the planet. Yeah, that's the Oath song. It plays for a minute. And then we go down the secret stash at the end of this kind of run here. And we are invited to the rift, into the rift. Alright, now we can step through. We are now at the bridge between worlds in its frozen state. And this is the place where Nun, who's the main villain, me, comes through and takes over. And this place is the hub for the rifts. Here you can also character spec. So you have your 1 passive and 1 battle skill. That's red and blue. So red, of course, is battle. And you can spend it on whichever one. I think you get 10. Plus 10, or it must be plus 5 or something. Let's say I want to be a bow user, and they all have different things. May your arrow fly straight. A talisman inscribed bows. Decipher the strange stone. Claim bows plus 10. You can see bows went up 55. Must have been at 45. Alright, now we're a swimming bow guy. Whatever. So now we spent this character spec here. You can explore a few things, but there's nothing to be had here at the Bridge Between Worlds because you're still naked and you're still kind of you don't have loot yet. A gigantic portal, it's active, step through. Sorry. Alright. And now we're inside the rift. And this door, because we're in a skybox now, one of those black boxes that you'll see in a dungeon, but the dungeon's been gutted, and we just been adding a space scene. All the dots, all the lights you're seeing are wisps that have been frozen in place and copied a million times to make stars. There's a rift eye, which is like a opening rift. Here's where you'll finally obtain your first weapon and shield. Quick little tutorial here. There's a box here that you beat up. There's some things in the world that you can beat up. Not everything is invincible, but there's a portal in here, and that teaches them that there's things later in the world, like in temples, like walls that you need to knock down to open up paths and stuff like that. So it spawns some enemies on you. That's a clever little trap up there. And then so you just kind of fight them and get a work for the controls. And oh, by the way, all 3 of these stages, all the 6 stages in the Rift, depict something that's being added. So there's a Christmas tree for Christmas Town. This is the Halloween Town, pumpkin and a tree. This is Stormbridge, which actually is just already a city that you open these doors and you get into this portal. And then here we are at the second part of the rift. Wow, this is crazy. And here's depict the end, the final tiered city in the first map. And I'm not gonna say its name, but it's basically the City of Gods. and it's a floating castle city. It's crazy. Sign in. This is, of course, in case someone messes up the next part here, this is new. Actually, this is all been added recently. This is a new add-on. We added a warp drop to the beginning of the game instead of just the library. So that little shake, you've gotten a buff, because now we are getting a buff for damage. We're about to fall, and we're about to see into the next scene, which this scene is really cool. You actually get a visual of the Titans destroying their town. Look at that.
This is that's so cool. It's so trippy.
How cool is that? So now you've entered the red moon, so to speak. But as long as you stay still right here, guys, you'll be fine. You will fall in water, I promise. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And our damage will take care of our damage buff will take care of any cold, whatever we got going on right now. We can just quickly dry off. And right now, the castle city outside, which now we are officially in Evergale, which is the first city of Evergale, which is North Lake, is being under attack by Modder. And there's defenses like placed on the walls and crafting things, so it looks like he's always attacking the buildings and stuff. And so he sometimes ignores you, so you just try to take advantage of the fact when he ignores you, and when he doesn't, you hide, you know. Yeah, this is hard. I mean, it's not easy, but it's not too short. So this guy's screaming, "Get inside," you know. So now we're in the castle, and there's people taking cover. We're still under attack. Abandon the castle, the defenses aren't going to hold. The city's being destroyed, run for your life. It's transported to the second part of North Lake. That's under attack, and you get introduced to Ural, the Keeper of Knowledge, this is the statue that guides you through the world. So if you find this statue and you need some information, some kind of quick information going on in the area, you'll find it here. And she tells you that you need to purge the darkness to see about getting back home, because little do you know you're in a new world. And I can't move my legs, and then you get a cool little introduction to the game right there after the tutorial is done, because now you are in the sandbox world. You're free to roam. You jump across here and you're invited, everyone's going off to Stormbridge because that's the nearest hold where the queen is, and they're hoping the queen will help them. And they need a new town to stay at, and that will be that sets up the refugee faction later, which is there's a whole refugee thing going on there, and everyone's in trouble.
That is so cool. So do you mind if you stay at this point and then I ask you some questions?
Sure.
So I want to learn a bit more about, let's see, how does it feel to work on this?
Well, it feels great. I mean, I always love doing things creative. And, a lot of people can say that it's a waste of time or it's impossible or whatever, but I don't believe that, you know. I like to live in the fantasy, you know. The world's so screwed up right now that I just figured build a little Zen garden where I and other people could feel like they were in another world, like another paradise. And there's so many experiences here that bring you in and out of vibes. Like there's a whole other thing I don't want to spoil that is completely flip side to this, and it's just like if you feel like you're even tired of this, you can go there. And then there's other maps, and it's that we're working on, and it's in case you want to go there, but you have to unlock them.
You gotta always join it and explore to find everything out.
Right. And you can always come back here, which is the main world of men, the mortals, where all the markets are. You know, if you want to be a merchant, come back and sell your things. This is where you come and do it. There's also a city out there. I don't want to spoil it, but it's a city of non-humans. Basically, the mages. They're mages, but they have like a whole magical city. So the meadows have been basically transformed into like a paradise theme. We got countless waterfalls in game, and just a lot of fantasy stylings. So of course, then we got you coming up to the first kind of meadow here. There's the first town, and I just want to quickly show you our first temple. So these big structures here were built by slaves in the lore, and many of them died here to build these structures for these tyrant beasts. So this is actually a massive, not only a temple, but a massive gravesite. And this is the only temple that is one piece. So it's not so long, but it's a Meadows temple, so it doesn't have to be. But as you go through jumping all those jump portals and doing fighting enemies, you just kind of go up these, and there's jumps and puzzles and mini bosses, and here's like the mini boss. And then when you get to the top, you can fight the boss in the boss room, and then teleports you back out. And that's the Meadows Temple, the Eek Temple, one of the first temples I ever built, and it still holds up, not bad. This is the area for that.
Yeah,
It's kind of just
beautiful.
like a platformer, and you jump to each one. You get the chest over there, and enemies and loot and all kinds of secrets, and it's an adventurescape. And then this is the first town. Humble beginnings, but still quite a nice town. This is the Carpenter town. Carpenters like to just mess with wood, and they're very humble with their builds, and so nothing too crazy here. It's just kind of like an encampment, and there's plenty of people working and messing around, and a lot of houses to claim or take, and free plots to build on.
Can you talk a bit about the free plots, or where
Sure.
in the server can people build and do that thing?
Well, in each town, there is an architect running around. Let me find him.
The shaman.
Yeah,
So
the shaman
cool.
running around. Oh, here he is. And it's very heavily actually pointed in this first town, because I really wanted to get it through that there's places to build and they're easy to find. So the architect lets you know that the Carpenter town is looking for builders and to expand their town. And you should find these architects. Their names are always in orange. There's one in each major town, and he's always walking around. He looks the same, and he says, "Listen up. The Carpenter faction is looking to expand their humble town, allocating a plot up ahead, free for builds." Or you could just go to the map and see that all the free plots are actually already pre-marked. There's an NPC there under the ground that is marked on the map. You can see the icon there. It pops in and out, and it's just this free plot, and it's always going to be yellow. Yellow means like middle or neutral. So there's plenty of them. And these are where players can build, and they can also have their builds destroyed and raided and all that good stuff. But if you do build something great on these plots, and I come through and I see it, and it's like, wow, this is a really good build, you can opt to have it, made invincible or even made part of the story, and we're always looking for good builders. And if you find somewhere, of course, that you really want to build on, we can make it happen for you. All you gotta do is make the territory. It takes 2 seconds. So the architects but the maps are marked, and so yeah.
So you're trying to get more people involved and more players. And what are you working on moving forward? Like, what are you feeling is the direction this is going in?
Well, definitely into the second map, and which, by the way, we really want to find builders for. But again, if it doesn't happen, I'm more than happy to do it alone. It just takes more time, and there's nothing really wrong with that either. Because at the end of the day, if there's one dev working on something, it'll at least be coherent. It'll at least have the same sort of stylings, like. But other than that, working towards the second map, the first one's already done.
So to be clear, when you're saying the maps, basically you're talking about this whole server, this world, has some areas that are defined. And each one of those is the map. So this first map that you're on right now is done.
Right.
The second map is another area on that same server, right?
Right.
All right, cool.
It's actually out here, right here. It's basically the same size, if not bigger, right here. And it's gonna be. Well, I can't really point it out to spoiler. It's around here somewhere. But you have to sail and find it. It's the mythical skull sort of island, which is a giant's lost world. So again, huge spoilers there, but it's just that over the garden wall kind of vibe. So everything over there is going to be just mythical, and create the monster is going to be super strong, and you really got to be like a good player to be out there. And it's just it's hardcore survival out there basically, for the as opposed to the more mellow of the first world. But there's some hard challenges there. Don't sleep on it. And then my third sandbox in the works was, if at all possible, if the world file will allow it, I haven't allocated another set of land here that's perfect for a sailing sandbox. So less land and more like almost like a water world, like you're living on a boat. And we're gonna introduce Val Raft mod possibly in that
Ah, awesome.
DLC, so that people can really be pirates, but they can still be pirates in the first. They can't really in the second, because in the second map I would say there's less sailing out of the 3 maps because it's mostly on foot stuff. There is a lake in the middle, but it's mostly housing like a big surprise. And that's something to be talked about later. But that's second season. That's second DLC. That's yeah.
No, but that's cool. So basically people can join and they can experience the first one. And it's free for them to join, but you have like a VIP thing and there's some benefits for that. And then if they like that experience and they want to get involved with working with what you're doing for the second or third map, you're open to that. That's something that is possible. So let's say someone wants to get on the server. They want to start. Like they're convinced. What do they do exactly, step by step? Like they just join your Discord? What do they do?
We have a mod pack that I've recently learned it's better to go to, because we can actually just put the URL to our Discord on this mod pack, and there's a URL for the mod pack itself, obviously, but it's on Thunderstore. You should be able to search for it and see it by searching up Legends Rift.
Okay, so basically they could use R2, right?
R2, exactly. R2 Modman, yes. Yes.
And then search for Legends Rift mod pack, is that right?
Yeah, yes. I'll share the URL art with you. We're always updating the pack with new things, new audio files. Especially when we get more audio files, we'll be updating it that way. Any new mods?
Legend Rift updated January 28th.
Have you found it? It has the art?
It. Yep.
Okay.
Very cool.
I'm glad you found it. Yeah. 1.1.2.
It has the website link. And, that's cool.
And there's the Discord on there.
I see. Awesome.
All you need to do is get R2 up, make a new profile, name it Legends Rift or Titan H2, what have you, and then download that pack on the profile. Keep those mods updated unless otherwise noted, and then join the Discord, and then you'll get the credentials. You'll get the IP and the server address and the password and all that good stuff.
So realistically, they just gotta search for you on Thunderstore or on R2, and then everything else will follow.
Right.
That's awesome. Very beautiful, by the way. This is very impressive. It's especially I love the way the beginning starts. I didn't even realize it because I'm used to Valheim storms. I just instinctually thought Valheim thunderstorm. I didn't realize no, this is like a story in a game. You're joining, the world's over, tensions building. Like that, very cool. Once that clicked, oh yeah, it's very, very cool.
I have absolutely customized every square inch of every named forest in this game. There's there's nothing I haven't touched. So there's the completely new biomes to find. These mushrooms, just be exact, to be precise, and other things like more fantasy stylings. I really like this area. Let me just go back because we already scanned that. Show you the perfect example of what I'm talking about.
I have a thing for paths, so this place looks awesome. And there's lots of, just by the way, there's something that's come up with different adventure maps. There's no best or anything like that. There's a lot of really awesome work, and there's a lot people can learn from seeing other things. And personally, you have an amazing, awesome world here. It's definitely great.
This is a custom dungeon. Spoiler here, but this is our custom dungeons. They got many pre-built rooms. I pre-build themed rooms. So this is of course the Black Forest dungeons that interlock. So we build one room and then we just piece them together. So it's like a left bin, a straight, a main room, a treasure room, and you can click them all together at the door.
So yeah, cool. I like how you hid the end boxes there. That's cool.
Yeah. You got custom dungeons for the Black Forest and Swamp only for right now. Caves are probably going to be locked for VIP players because there's other ways to get coin and jewels and stuff, and you really don't need to go in them to get certain cores because there are no certain cores. Why? Because we don't want crazy portal systems everywhere. We don't need that. All that stuff's been done for you. There's fast travel systems. We're about to come up on one. You can take magic carpet rides. You can take hot balloon air rides. You can take to this and there, and you know, most of it's walking too, because it's like, you know, you need to walk. It's like that hardcore, you know.
Hey, no, that's where Valheim shines, is to get the player to travel through the 3D world. So I'm wondering, just from like a philosophical game dev perspective, now that we were towards the end, there's always this thing that happens where people join and they try and play Valheim like Valheim, and like you have to like it's almost like they don't even know what is possible because they think it's just Valheim. And does that make sense? So like you just mentioned fast travel and these other things and alternative options to portals and these things.
Right.
How do you personally feel about managing that when a player joins? Because for me, that's one of the harder things, is thinking about like, okay, they're going to try and play Valheim. How do I get them to understand these other things that are available?
I'm glad you said that, because it's like anyone would almost come to that conclusion if they thought long enough about it. Like, yeah, you know, people would probably be stubborn and just go ahead and play Valheim. And I've already had experiences like that. And thankfully, because I was able to then think around that, because I took that for what it is, and I'm letting the players kind of do that still. As I said, this is a very vanilla friendly world, and especially when it comes to the fight mechanics, there's nothing crazy about weapons or armor or anything else new you need to know. All the weapons and armor are the same. The fighting is the same. It's just a map that's been built up. Like in this world, you'll get distracted by maybe a bandit walking down the road, and you're talking to him, and he wants a piece of food off of you, and if you don't have it, he'll punish you by spawning an enemy, and now you're on doing something else. And there's side quests, and there's so many distractions and ruins and things to loot. Kind of a spoiler, but this is Stormbridge. This is like the first main hole. This is the transcontinental. This is the transcontinental city, the only transcontinental city that is built across the water that connects the East Land to the West, and it is very cool. And we have the slums down here, the slums theme. People holding signs. You can like tip them, you know, give them coins and stuff. But they're just living underneath this overpass. We have a bigger slums. It's an entire city that's just a big slum, and it's a big slum theme, and it's just all these themes, you know. As everything's lived in, and like cool, like little secret paths, you know. Like here's one to the forge, and you know, like clothes hanging around, and jobs. This is the market, one of the first big market. We got Fable style jobs here. You can pick up one from like bargain day. We actually have bargain days. You can accept this quest, and you can get all the food and the market half off for a little bit, and that lasts like 2 weeks or something. So once you're done, the quest boards right now look like this. They're giant swords because for some reason AG took his quest board model away, so we had to replace it with something else. We also have Fable style jobs. You could be a blacksmith, and those are marked like this, so you can come talk to this guy, and as long as you have the materials needed to start, so you don't steal things, you're not duping things, you can come here and be a blacksmith, where he will give you things and you just come over here and make them, you turn them in, like Fable, like a Fable job pretty much, and you're making money while you're doing that. So you make like 3 bronze swords for the town maybe, and he takes them away from you, of course, but then you get money at the end. These are kind of new. These are tip signs that are kind of all around the world that say helpful hints. There's an alchemist. There's so many cool NPCs. Alchemist, you can fuse items with this guy. So if say you have you need a stamina potion, but you only have a bunch of smalls, you think 2 would equal 1, but alchemists you need to destroy energy to create things. So you need 3 to make 1, right? So it's like you're sacrificing to make something better. So that's what the alchemist does. There's bards. You can tip them. These bards. Oh my god. You can play and learn. You can play and learn. Freaking my songs are custom songs, like Zelda, like actually like playing the ocarina. Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
and so every note has been uploaded. Seriously. So she plays it very, very quietly and first for you. You listen to it, and she tells you the notes. Here it is: 1, 1, 2, 4, 3, 1, 2, 4, 5, all that. And those are QWERTY notes, and you can go ready to perform. And you get a flute. Oh, I got it wrong. Anyway,
That's
it's my own
cool.
song. I can't even play it. But if you get it right, you get a buff from the bard, and now you're able to run around faster or something for a little bit.
That's
So
really
like
cool.
stuff like that. There's obliterators placed kind of everywhere, you know, in case people want to, you know, manage their inventory because we don't have a backpack mod yet. I think that the spaces are enough. I think we got what we need. Another thing I really wanted to say before we get to the end here is bank. The bank, we got a bank system. This is a very clever system. I used to have just one guy do everything, and I was like, that's not really good because you can go through the list of everything. No. So I've allocated just 6, sorry, here. Materials, metals, gear, trophies, ingredients, and food. And that will take care of everything in the game. So you can come in here, and this is shared between all cities. So if you come in here to Stormbridge and you put some gear in here, you put some metal, you put some coins away in here, which will be in metals because the coin is a metal. You can take out from this bank in another town or another city, wherever this is looking. It looks just like that. There's slightly bigger chests with the nothing too crazy, but it does its job. That's the
Yeah, like
bank,
a
the
bank.
banking system. Yeah, that's how that works.
So
Trophy traders.
can I ask you what games? I can already tell. Like you've mentioned Fable a couple times, so obviously
Hmm.
you've been influenced by Fable. What other
Yeah.
games do you think you've liked and that element has shown in this? Because I've found the
Right.
easier way to do that is just by talking about the games that have influenced you. Because typically, like on Palm, for example, if people like Dark Souls and they like dying a lot and they like crazy ridiculousness and they like building, they're gonna like Palm. But if they like hardcore, not dying, staying alive, they're not gonna like Palm. So I tell
Yeah.
them if they like Dark Souls, that's probably something they'll like. If they don't like Dark Souls, they're gonna hate it. And like
Yeah.
that seems to work really well. So I'm wondering, like for you, what games do you think really influenced you, particularly with this project?
Well, first Valheim for sure. Cause gotta
That's a
say
good
that.
one.
Fable, as you said, I just love the vibes there, and Zelda,
Is
a lot
there a
of Zelda
particular
games.
Fable?
Fable 2 and 3, I'd say. First one was all right as well, but Zelda, grew up playing that. Love Zelda games. We got some quirky Zelda vibes here and there with the quirkiness from Zelda and Kingdom Hearts. As far as like the kind of like the intertwining of worlds goes in our story, kind of like a little nod there, you know, because I don't know if you remember in Kingdom Hearts 1, you're able to visit a bunch of worlds. One of them actually being Halloween Town and I think Christmas Town. We'll go to Halloween Town now. This is a anomaly. It's considered an anomaly because it's not of this world. It breaks physics, and anomalies can either be, or they're usually super dangerous. But that's a spoiler. That's a spoiler. You can, if you go around these structures too much, you can actually fall into like different worlds, and it's really crazy. I'm a madman. It's insane. So this is Halloween
I love
Town.
those pumpkins.
And it's got 3 sections, and there's a huge story going on here. There's a huge side quest here, and there's so much things to do here. And if you finish them all, you can get an armor set that you would have otherwise gotten doing normal swamp stuff, which is across the water here, across the Valdives, which is a cave diving. You actually go snorkeling. You can dive into caves, and you get in there, and it's all that stuff. So this is Halloween Town. Through this pumpkin house. Kind of old, but it still works.
I like the
And it's
orange
getting
wood.
long.
It's cool.
So it's way out here, right? But it's considered to be part of the town we were just in, of course. But you wouldn't really know unless you open the map, you know.
No, that's good though because that you have to do that to spread players out so they're not all in the same chunk
Exactly.
as well.
Oop, this isn't supposed to be open. That's the way to Christmas Town. There's another way too. And kind of like and you get up on it and you fight the mini boss, which is this big. It's called Eek. He's like the main villain of Halloween Town, and you spawn back on the ground and have to fight like a level 1 abomination or something, with the smile in there. Really Halloween Town-ish.
Yeah, definitely strong Halloween aesthetic.
So you got our Halloween
Very
Town.
cool.
This is Bane. I would say Bane builds mostly his town because he's got some builds here that are filling her up. but mostly my stuff, but more of his stuff here. And then he has his own separate city that he's working on later, but they don't come in often. They try their best, but they got work and school and they're just busy.
Yeah,
so
people are
I get
busy.
it. And this is another milestone in the game. We finally reach this part past the swamps. We finally reach the royal city, and this is one of the older factions of the game. These guys have been around for a while, and so they got all the information. They got a big library that's filled with all the text and all the scripts, and they are the royal scholars. That's their faction. So when you get the scholar badge, which is you get that from the king, which exists in this castle. This is the second royal castle. The first one I showed you that Malfecarum built is over there. It's the Grand Royal Castle. They actually have 2 castles. They're rich over here.
Yeah, I mean they're
Anyway.
royals. They should have 5
they're
castles.
royal. Exactly. They should have 5 castles. But they have the red flag, so their favorite color is red, kind of royalish, royal-esque. I love this NPC. I don't know why.
Her voice reminds me of a gnome from World of Warcraft. Hello there.
And the badges were a clever way of locking kind of story progress behind helping a king or a queen of a place, so you can actually really access their city. Because a lot of times maybe you go to the meat cart outside and you won't get the best price because you don't have a scholar badge, just like that.
Ah, that's cool.
Ooh, pretty. So she's a jeweler. She's got some quests for you about jewels. Anyway, this is the library. How to access the vault. This is the public library, the public version of it. The real one's down and under the ground. It's the vault, where all the good stuff is. Wait. Okay. And this is the inside of the royal library. This is really cool. There's some brooms coming around, sweeping up the place. You can fight, kind of disturb the place a little bit. Let it load in. The duality ceiling. Look at that. You meet some heroes here. Some of my characters are here. There's 3 of them here. There's Radiant Leaf, who's the druid. Rain, who I actually am right now. Hey, what's
Trippy.
up? And Anuba, who is really old, and she's from the desert. And she's a dead raiser / assassin. You meet them here, and they send you on your next kind of main story quest. But in here, you can also, well, you have to do this. This is how you actually get the ticket to the vacation that sends you to a tropical island where there's a big story arc where you fight Nun for a little bit and his pirates. And it's on a vacation island. It's really cool part of the story there. So you translate the book if you have the stone, of course. I don't think it's a stone. It's next to the book. You get it anyway, and only you can read it though, because you're an anomaly. We get another warp. These ones are a bit less because they're.
That first part,
God.
that's so strong though. The way that those visuals look is so. Yeah, it looks so natural.
Thanks. I probably should elongate them here. Anyway, this is Enton, the forest planet.
Ooh,
And as you
I
can
like
see,
how
it's
purple
very
it is.
alien. It's very alien already, and it's just covered in a big forest. And we'll get some more alien themes here in a second. This is kind of an example of an alien world, where everything's just kind of trippy and we're a little off and not normal. But inside there is this is where the shaman lives, where if you collect 50 blue mushrooms outside, this is how you get out of the world, by the way. And collect 50. There's a mini boss in here. Seeker for the first time. But look at this area. This is pretty cool. There's a shaman, and you give them 50 blue mushrooms, and they're magical. Their magic gets you out of here, and then it sends you to the Elder Bridge, where you confront him, and it's just a lot of stuff. So, yeah, always
That's
updating
awesome.
this world. There's so many things. There's other than boss temples, which I want to take you to a really cool temple, but let's take a while, and it's kind of really big spoilers. But other than these boss temples that are the boss, how you beat the bosses, you go through the temples first. You can go through dungeons to shrines that are themed. We got the boar shrines. We got frost troll shrines. We have haunted mine shrines. We got all these shrines, and a shrine is basically a smaller temple. So it's like a themed And then a dungeon is the clipped together pieces, which are smaller than that. And then a cave, of course, is smaller than that. So it's like, that's how it goes up. Cave, dungeon, shrine, temple. And then we also have mini games, which mini games are Haldor's deal. So if you go to Haldor here, he's out here. I'll show you one more thing. Haldor's camp, we've done it up, and he's actually got a house out there that if you go inside a portal in there, it sends you to this big underground lair. Like, it's this little house, right? And it's just, little do you know, it's this big compound down there, and it's just the mini game center. And it's got like 12 or 13 really passionately hand-built mini games that work, you know. And they're just
really
kind of in games.
Helderland. It's like an amusement park.
Pretty much. It's like the Disney. It's like a theme park. That's exactly it. That's exactly. I love to compare it to that. It's like the Disneyland of Valheim, pretty much. And a lot of people have taken notice. A lot of people said this is insane. This is great. The mini game center's in there. I can show you a mini game if you want.
Yeah, why not?
All right, one quick mini game. And there's survival in here. There's tower defense in here. There's races. There's archery. There's bomb tosses. There's mountain climbing. There's fishing mini games, jumping, rock climbing.
There he is.
I want to show you this one. This is one of my newer ones. This one's super cool. Whack-a-brute. There's numerous quests to take here and challenges to take here. And Haldor gives you all the information as well as the sign. But what this is basically, I'll grab my trusty bow here. And you can go from either of these things.
The ranges,
see,
it's like the difficulty.
Yeah, see, I just killed that. Is door closed. And it'll spawn back 30 seconds later and the door will open again. So your mission is to close all the doors or get them closed if you have a friend. Or just try to get them closed. It takes 2 arrows to kill them now. My arrows. See how the doors are closing now?
Yeah.
And they will reset because there's a clever almost hidden elite spawner in there that spawns every 30 seconds. It's not modded. It's not a modded spawner. It's weird. It's like one of those hidden vanilla things.
Yeah,
there are
Devcommands stuff.
Right. There are switches in there though. So now I've killed this one. 30 seconds have passed. It should open. And that's pretty much it. And then we're constantly working on that first map, as well as constructions of the second one are already underway. We already have the entrance all built up and all the ruins. It's going to be mostly ruins, no humans on this, because again, no mortal has ever been to this land and returned to tell the tale of it.
Yeah, so matches the lore. That's cool.
Right. And that's outside the rock seawall, which I've tried to mark out here. It's a little bit past this line, but there's a good area to sail around the map and inside of it. So you can go to, and all the major trade cities are connected to this strait, which the queen calls hers, but it's not actually, because you can't own a body of water. It's the Basilisk Strait. But near to Stormbridge, she runs those waters. So to get past that bridge under it and to this part of the map, you have to be in her favor.
And I think with that, we'll finish up the video. So if you're interested in checking this out, then you can get started just by going either to the Discord link in the bottom of this video, or you can just search for, what is it, Titan's Rift? Is that right? Titan's Rift on
Legends Rift.
Legends Rift. That's right.
It's the Legends Rift. My modder initially uploaded our pack without the so Legends Rift.
Legend Rift. Thanks so much for showing me, and in the future we can probably do something again. If you want to show some specific part of the game world out, just reach out, let me know.
So I've added an email to my, if at all things you can't for some reason add me on Discord, which I'm very easy to find, non-applicable. No hashtags, no numbers, just straight non-applicable. Easy to find on Discord. You can email me, of course, at eastshore321@gmail.com, which that email is posted at the end of my teaser video.